Hey guys, thank you for watching Unidentified Podcast. This is about third, fourth of the night. In the chat, we had a few conversations, and one of the things we brought up is the situation that's currently going on with the farming industry in Amsterdam. And for that, we have Nagayan, who actually lives down there, right?
Yes,
Nagayan, the floor is yours, man. Go for it.
thank you, Lito, for introduction. Yeah, I'm here, the Netherlands, and the thing was chaotic over the last couple of months, actually half a year. I have been trying to reach the target for the CO2 reduction, and actually that cut into the farmers' capacity to actually reduce or reduce, how do you call it, to actually farm more or have more cows, because cows, if you have more cows you produce more methane, and methane goes into the air.
Wait, they want to have more cows or less cows?
More cows, they cannot expand more, but having more cows means more efficient way of producing milk, but that can no longer go on because they have put some tariffs on the CO2. And yeah, that basically means that the farmers get less capacity to be able to produce the same amount of milk. Or
I was under the impression that cow burps actually are bad for the environment. So we need more cows.
No, they wanted more cows. The farmers.
the farmers want more cows, they want to expand more, and that means they earn more. But if there's a tariff
I see.
CO2, they can't have more, so they actually have to reduce the amount of cows. So that being said, that led to a lot of protests and riots going on over here. All the farmers went with their trucks to the Hague, which is actually the city where politicians are, and they went on the highway with trucks that drive like 20 miles an hour, and you can go 60 on the highway. It caused a lot of how do you call it, pileups of cars. So they have done a lot in the sense of protesting, but they still haven't come to an accord to what the farming industry is able to do. So now they're changing the perspective and changing actually the focus from away from the farmers, so the farmers can do their thing, they can keep their cows, but to reduce the CO2, they're now approaching, or they're now gonna have the building sector cut down its, or not provide permission to build.
Okay. I hope you don't mind. You can keep doing your thing. I just want to write down a few things so I don't forget. If you cool with that?
No problem. So actually buildings also takes a lot of CO2 to make. You have cement, it's out of limestone, or I think I don't know how the name for it, but in the cement there's also a lot of carbon CO2 release, and making the buildings is also a CO2. It costs a lot of CO2. So as to put, they're trying to now find a way that everybody is pleased and still go for the target of 2030, but it doesn't seem like that's a viable way to go. They won't reach it at the rate that we are reducing the CO2 output.
So what are the adjustments they're trying to bring to actually try to reach that then?
What I see is that there's a lot of deflection of the problem. And
Deflection, meaning people don't want to actually like analyze the problems at hand, and
at least the politicians don't want to. It seems like that. So it takes a lot of, there's a lot of climate activists going out there now attaching themselves to walls and attaching themselves to paintings.
You seen that? Yeah.
Protesting on highways to make sure that the politicians don't actually subsidize the oil and the gas industry, because that's what's going on in the heart of it at the core.
Okay. Is the fossil fuel issue again, right?
Yes, that's the biggest producer of CO2 in the industry.
Okay. So Ed, I have a question for you. You ready?
Yeah.
What is actually the issue at hand here? Like the actual issue. What do you see?
Well, nobody actually cares about the environment. And the actual issue is to try and shut down farmers so you can limit the output of food.
I agree. Keep going.
Oh, you agree with that? Well, that's pretty much it. And you can tell, because in any situation, you should analyze how rules are being applied to people. Are they being applied evenly? No, they're not. Like, it makes no sense to be doing all this in the Netherlands when China, India, a lot of these countries, that they can just do whatever they want. I mean, I've heard stories in China where you literally have to wear like a respirator in the city because there's so much pollution. Like your buildings have to have air, like, I don't know, like air filtration, because the air is so dirty there. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, oh, the Netherlands, which when you think of Netherlands, you think of green, you know what I mean? You think of like almost like you think of like almost nature, kind of green. You think of farms. We need to shut them down, but China and India can do whatever they want. Like, that's crazy. We're all on the same planet. And another thing, you say like it's methane and all these gases. Like, how much does a volcano put out? Like, how many cows?
But there's no way let's be honest. How you stop a volcano from
what
putting?
I'm saying is, like, how many cows does it take to add up to the output of one volcano?
Okay, I see.
Like, this is ridiculous. So
there's the sense of the extreme weather that's being produced.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, let's say we get rid of all those cows. We cut their cows down by like 75%, and boom, a volcano goes off. Wouldn't all that be for nothing?
Agreed. So far, and this is rare, I'll let you guys know. So far, I agree like 100%.
Either way, the volcano has a certain time span that it goes off.
But think about the amount of just
has been happening over centuries.
Okay, Nagayan, before we continue, okay, I have a question. One of the questions I wrote down is, what is, like, how much do you guys depend on meat sources? Do you guys eat a lot of meat over there?
And the fun thing,
'Cause I know you produce a lot of grain and stuff, but like,
the fun thing about this is we don't really rely on the meat from the cows, but we use the cows to produce milk.
mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same percentage of milk that goes abroad. Actually, they consume it in Japan, in China, and they sell it.
That I know. That I know. I'm asking about your diet personally, because I just have no idea about that. I know what you guys do and how much you guys export of your products. Okay. Maybe other people don't know. Maybe I should have just let you.
They third largest food exporter in the world?
Yeah, they are in the top 5 actually. Last time I checked, last video I checked. So yeah, they import, like that area in general exports the largest amount of grain. Let's say dairy for this case, I guess. Grain. And natural resources, dairy and natural resources, but that kind of comes as one with the thing. But I want to know, like, what's the consumption for you guys? Like, you guys gotta overdo it to send it out, or are you guys overdoing it because you guys consume a lot of it and then also have to send it out? Like, how does that work? what's your diet over there? What's your normal meals over there?
Basically, yeah, Dutch are known to consume a lot of milk, and that's a tradition that I don't know where it came from, but it started with the melkboer, and that's called the milk farmer. That used to. There were a lot of also promotional videos of milk being healthy for you, and being healthy for your bones, having strong bones. I think that's also was put forward in the U.S. So. But we also an avid cheese country, so we use milk to produce cheese. And yeah, I think 1 and 1 came with. I don't know how percentage of how much one person in the Netherlands consumes. I can look it up, but it wasn't the need for milk that made the farmers produce more. It was actually the need for competing in the international market, which made more sense if Netherlands would become a milk producing country, and export is good because it would reduce the price, the production price.
Yeah, I kind of got that much. Yeah. Yeah, I was just curious about that. Like, you guys want to be in the top for exporting, but I was also, seeing what the demands from the people from over there would be. Dutch people, yeah. Okay. So another question, a little off topic, right? But how is your wildlife, like the actual wildlife? You have a lot of forests, you have a lot of trees, you have a lot of like diversity with the animals that are out in the wild.
We have a lot of birds, migratory birds that land over in Groningen, and that's basically the Waddenzee, where there's a lot of space for birds to, and it's also I don't know if it's protected land. I think it is, yeah. It's protected land territory,
Okay.
which allows the birds to go there. And we have several of those. I think the Veluwe and Flevo.
Why is there areas where you protect them? Is it deteriorated, or if you left it alone, it would be good, or what's going on?
It's basically to stop the people from going out and living there, and especially from urbanizing those areas, because yeah, we live with 17 million people in one country, and if you populate all the areas, it would be more less dense in the rural cities or the cities, but at the same time it will take up space which isn't really necessary for people to go. It would make housing cheaper, but at the same time it would collide with the formal structure of city living and yeah.
Okay. And what are the probabilities of somebody who wants to strand out from society, let's say for example, to survive out in the wild without this like system they currently have? Like, is there enough out there that you got fruit trees, you got like, is your ground like fertile like all around, or how does that work?
We have quite fertile ground because it's a mix of clay and something else. It used to be below the sea level. It's still below sea level, but it used to be underwater. And because of that, there's a rich soil layer on top of it. Okay. And that's why there's a lot of farming industry happening as well.
Okay. I'm sorry for bringing this off topic. It's just I had an idea of something, and I kind of want to clarify a few things before I like keep thinking how I think. But like to me, like Ed says, it seems like, and I've been saying this since, Nagayan. We've been talking about this for how long? But it seems like the end game to this is to control and minimize the production of of resources actually. And I wonder what the reason for it is. I mean, if you control the resources, you have total power, of course, right? But if the whole land is fertile, then is that really it? Because if you were to say like, hey, I'm gonna like get away from this whole system and I'm gonna farm, I'm gonna buy land and live off farming like enough for to sustain like a little small community. It seems like you would be able to do this, right?
Definitely. And there are actually places in the city where people have moved to like just pieces of land which didn't have apartments on it, that were parks to say it like that. And people would just go there with their caravans and they have I don't know how you call it, so a small community of green tribe where people actually use compost. They don't use much electricity. They
Like the Amish, we have that here, yeah.
yeah, but like very even
Okay,
less than
Ed,
that.
now
But the society sees them as outcasts or pariahs or
yeah, yes,
and that's how I
yeah.
think they keep them like, okay, that's them and we live in the normal life, the majority of us, so keep living the life, keep having the rat race, keep having the jobs that you have and going for the career that you have, and basically will provide you a dream that actually doesn't exist, the system, put it like that.
Yes, that's a good point. Edward, I'm sorry. Like I said, I brought that off topic a little bit, but it's for me to get a better understanding of these things. Why control the food sources? What's going on with this, man? Like, what is really going on? What you think?
Where we ultimately going? To kill off is most people, and then start all over again.
You see, like you are saying all the things that I've been saying for a while, right? And then when I say population control, you say no.
No, because it's not to just control. I think to kill off as many people as you can, so you only have 1% of the population, and then start over again.
And then
And,
start
and recreate a
you can mold
humanity.
it yourself, and you can mold it into whatever your vision is.
Yeah.
That is control right there. That is controlling your population. Like literally, that controls your population, not just the amounts, but that it's easier to control the way they behave and the way they culturize the whole system. It's easier.
You can bring in like better humans that are bred properly and all that are bigger and stronger
Absolutely,
and smarter. Yeah.
Absolutely, but that is population control, regardless of what, and any and every way you see this.
Well,
And
I'm saying, population control is different, because population control is just like you just want to maintain a number. What I'm saying is you want to kill everyone off so you can build it back up, but build up a different type of humanity. Yes.
But is that? Oh, maybe I'm using the wrong word. Maybe my word
You
is.
don't even have to kill off people to accomplish that.
No,
I
you
mean,
they just don't have food. So
It is easier. There's less resistance. There's less chances of you overpowering your government if you don't have the number.
that's true.
but we're talking like this is a couple hundred years out. That's how far these guys are thinking.
Totally, yeah. Nothing I say is for it to happen tomorrow. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm talking about like not my generation, not my kids' generation. You know what I mean? Like when my kids have their kids, we're gonna have some problems here if we don't take charge today. Who was it? Was it China? China that did this? They didn't do anything for their current community. What they did was they had an opioid pandemic, whatever issue. I don't know how to word that, but they had an issue where their population was like really like crappy, shitty, lazy on opioids, and they were not productive. So a group of people that were in charge actually set a plan. Was it what I don't know if it was China. I don't want to say the wrong thing, you know what I mean? But just to give you some context on what I'm trying to say is that they didn't look to help the people that are currently living. They didn't look to take them out of this issue or anything like that. They focus on the next generation, for the next generation to set up for the upcoming generations after that. And look, I think it is China, but now China, what they did is they started educating and putting a lot of emphasis in education for the upcoming generations. And look at it now. China is one of the most like uh, when it comes to books, educated countries in the world, or powers in the world, actually. And that took over 60 years, I think it was. And
That's a perfect example of actually numbers.
uh-huh.
Having numbers means having competition, having the need to be better, be better than your next, and be better than the one beside you and before you. And that's how they apply themselves, and the Chinese do. And I think in that sense, it can be good, but it can also be the negative. If you go to China now, they have a rating system, and based on what you share, what you do on social media, what you do on propaganda against the
I mean,
government.
if you believe all the propaganda, you're great. You guys would do great over there.
Wait, hold on. Have your little argument over there. One second. Keep going though.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, you guys, well, especially Lido, you guys you just, whatever the mainstream tells you. I mean, it's just that's what it is. And if you're over in China, whatever they tell you, as long as you don't question it, I mean, that's how your social credit score gets down, right? Just don't question anything, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
But I'll pause it. I'll wait till this guy comes. All right.
Yeah, basically, they're having a social credit score over there where they rate you, and now based on that, you can travel, you can go to other cities or not. And I don't remember what my point was with that, but
Sorry, I messed up the flow.
No, it's all right.
Okay.
Well, I hope I'm making a good argument, a good point of. I hope this makes for a good future conversation as well, a good continuation to this whole thing. We will keep updating on these things. But to be honest with you, like I keep bringing this up because I'm actually worried, man. I think that is the point, and the point is what I call population control, meaning controlling numbers and behavior, and like let's say culture, because once it transcends, it's a culture. What are the odds that we will be chosen? There's not gonna be any auditions for this. There's not gonna be. They just gonna end us all, and for what's left, they're gonna pick the best of what's left. I clean up. I don't know. Is it? I don't know what's going on, man.
Yeah, man. It's just
I don't know. Maybe I sound crazy. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore. I sit and think about this a lot, and I think it's worth putting some thought into it. You never know who has the answer to these questions.
But then, yeah. The question also is, you can choose which road you take, or is everything already set in a path for you?
But like I said, there's no auditions for this, so I don't think I think it'll get picked for you. I don't think you get to pick. I think if you go about your normal life, you are to no value to anybody.
But
In my
that's what you
opinion.
say. If you go about your normal life, what if you become better? You become something that they would want in their society, or something that they would need, or
Then yeah, that's actually different, of course. But think about this. For the bigger plan, for the bigger idea, if it was me at least, I would not count on this generation or the next. You understand?
So
yeah.
you're saying that this is a good thing to kill off the people and start over? This is what you're saying. This is good.
No, no. There's better ways of doing this. In my opinion, off the top of my head, is including God a little more in our lives. Um, but that's just me. I believe in God. I pray all the time. I misbehave in God's eyes. I'm pretty sure. But including God a little more. Even if you think God is not real, man, what will you lose at the
I'm
end
just
of your
curious.
life?
How many
Nothing
world
will be
leaders
lost.
do you hear talk about God? This,
That's a great question.
How many
I don't
world
remember
leaders
one of them.
talking about the devil? I mean,
there is one who talks about God all the time. Actually,
Putin.
there was two. Trump and Putin. I'm not joking. Like you go and look it. You go look it up for yourself.
Okay.
oh Jesus. Okay,
Somehow I do believe that. I do believe
I
that.
can't make that up. It's the truth.
That goes for us all. If you believe in karma, I think the mistake humans are making, and sorry for going off topic. I think the mistake we are making as humans is separating God and not believing that God is all of the above. When we say karma, I think that's God's actions.
Another
When
thing
we say good,
I
about
like
those,
Morgan Freeman's approach to it, though. He says, "I believe in God, yes, because I believe in me."
wow, that's not believing in God, man. That's something else. That's satanic right there. I don't know.
Okay, I don't remember how he worded it, but there's a saying he says about him believing in himself and believing in God at the same time.
well, that's a good thing for bringing that up. Okay, if you word it wrong, then it'll sound wrong. But I'll tell you this. Think about this, right? Our brain is so limited. What we understand is so limited. The information we have at hand is so limited. Okay, the testament, like actual testimonies that we would believe, very limited, very limited. All of these things are limited. Okay, and then think about this. When we have kids, I have two kids, and I see myself in them. Do you understand where I'm going with this? I don't think God would make us without leaving a little bit of Him. And I don't think we are able to make a kid, let's say, for example, without leaving a little bit of us. Actually, 50-50 is our DNA splits, right? From the mom and from the dad. And then you get some looks from the mom and some looks from the dad. And this gene does this and this gene does that. But that is only seeing it in a small scale. If you continue going with that, our kids' personalities will, be a part of the personality you exhibit in front of your kids. Their decision making, all of these things. I think it's the same with God. We are limiting this by saying is Allah the God and the Jewish God is God and this and that. I think if we see things as the whole picture and we take it slow, we don't have to take. God is timeless. We don't have to make a choice today. We just got to make a choice little by little and stick to it. I don't know. I'm lost in this. I'm just saying these things because I feel like that's the only solution to this whole thing issue. Ed, thank you for allowing me to talk because I feel like you probably won't be 100% in agreement with me, but I don't agree with myself 100%. The person who is speaking to you right now is not the same that will be here tomorrow. I am constantly changing my ideas and the way I think, and information change around me as well. I'm just saying
Gonna say, none of the leaders in the West talk about God. They're not allowed, and a lot of the European leaders, they don't even have kids. So there you go. Those are your people.
all right.
Which is kind of strange when you think about all those people and they don't have kids. There's no reason for it.
Why would you have a kid if you have the intention of eliminate
That's what I'm saying.
forgetting about this
It's
next
weird.
generation?
Like why do none of these European leaders, none of them have kids?
Well, in the past was believed that if you had a boy, you would pass on your legacy through him.
Bro,
What has changed?
something's up with them. I don't know what's going on with those people.
Hmm.
I mean, because you can't say it's money or anything. It's like, what's going on with you? It's weird. But I don't know, guys. I'm gonna end it on that. You guys got any final words?
No, that would be it. That's something to think about and come back to. Feel free to make note of that. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, hit like, give us the opportunity. Thank you.